Well, hello, Shell Point residents. My name is Jason Smith, your Senior Director of Amenities. And today I have the absolute pleasure to talk to Chauncey Goss, the Chairman of the Board for South Florida Water Management District. He is always in the top of our minds here in South Florida, especially Southwest Florida. And we are so lucky to have him featured in our Academy class this upcoming September 28th at 10 o'clock in the Grand Cypress Room. So with all that said, Chauncey, what brought you to your role, and what have you done in your career to take on the new chairman of the board role within South Florida?
Well, I think that the fact that I grew up here in Southwest Florida, I've got a long relationship with water here. I understand it pretty well, and the governor, when he came in, he wanted to change the direction that the board was going, so he appointed a whole new board, which was great, but there's a learning curve for all of us. My long relationship, growing up on Sanibel, I was a Sanibel City Councilman. I lived in Boca Grande for a while. I know the area here very well. My career was in federal budgeting, so I worked in DC for a bit, and that was interesting. It doesn't really correlate directly, but it does help because we have some big numbers that we have to deal with at the district, and we do a lot of work with the Army Corps of Engineers, so I'm used to working with them and the federal entities. But mostly it's my relationships with probably the nonprofits down here, the Sanibel Captiva Community Foundation. I was on the board of that for a while. I know the folks very well. Captains for Clean Water, I'm on their board. So I know the issues pretty well, particularly as it goes to water quality. The quantity issues I'm still working with, the flood control issues I'm working with. It's been an enormous learning curve because, as I've found out, the district, which is based over in West Palm Beach, it's an enormous agency. It runs from Orlando all the way down to the Keys.
Wow,
So it's 16 counties, almost $1 billion budget. So it's a big entity, and it does a lot. It doesn't do a ton on this coast, but on the other coast, you'll see all the flood control structures. You're probably familiar with those. And as people drive across the state, they'll see the little alligator signs with the South Florida Water Management District. So those are our operations. We've got about 4,300 miles of canals and levees that we operate, and about 400,000 acres of land that we have under management. So it's a big organization. So it's not just water quality, but that's really important to this governor right now, and that's the reason I'm on the board.
Chauncey, you have a massive job. So knowing that you have one of the largest districts as far as the total acreage of water and really what you cover, so how do you stay innovative, and how do you stay current whenever you're really leading the industry?
Well, we are, and that's a really good question, and I think the answer to that is we have a great staff. We have tremendous science on our staff. We have tremendous scientists. We use some of the cutting-edge computer modeling. We had a workshop 2 days ago that was just, it blew my mind on some of the computer modeling we were doing to sort of show the hydrology if you put a drop of water, up in Reedy Creek or up in Orlando, and then just follow that drop down. By the time it gets to the Keys, what has it done? What's it gone through? How's it been impacted? Is it polluted? Is it not polluted? What we do is just amazing, and the ways that we take the water out of the lake and then try and move it into the Everglades. Everglades restoration is a big deal. It's a huge priority of the state right now. It's a priority of the federal government. It's very, very expensive to do, and it's something we've been working on for a while with the Corps of Engineers, and we're making headway there. But the science, it's not just let's dig a hole in the ground and put some water in it. There's tremendous science that goes into it, and that's the reason it takes so long, which can be a little bit frustrating at times because of the planning that goes into things. But when you're building a really big reservoir, like we're building a couple of them now, that we have to worry about. There's dam safety standards. We saw after Katrina that those big reservoirs can build up ahead of steam, and we don't want to flood anybody out. So that's something that we take very seriously. So the construction standards are much better than they ever were before. And as far as that technology goes, you asked about, we're always staying current. We're working with the universities. We're working with the FGCU. We've got a great relationship, I think, with them. We're going to have our governing board meeting in November at FGCU. They've got their water institute. They also do agricultural studies there, so that's a nice marriage of the coast and the inland, which is something we really need in the state, to have the communities talking to each other. So those are ways that we try and stay in it. For me, it's staff. We've got very good staff.
we're very blessed and really honored to have you come out and spend some valuable time of yours, as you are a very busy man, to come and educate our 2,400 residents.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and that'll be fun. I'll bring a couple PowerPoint slides, not
Great.
because there's some graphics that I think you need to see. It just makes things easier to do it graphically. I'm not a big PowerPoint guy, but there are some PowerPoints I hope to have. And to explain to the residents here a little bit about what the district does, because we as Lee County taxpayers pay into it. I mean, we're part of this. So you need to understand it. The residents of Lee County, the residents of Shell Point need to understand exactly what the district is, because I work for you.
We're so proud to have you part of our Academy session and season this year.
Great.
So I just want to say thank you again for coming out. It's been a pleasure to talk to you today. So please, Shell Point residents, again, September 28th, we are going to have the pleasure to see Chauncey talk about some of the new initiatives and review what's happening within our waterways here in South Florida. You heard it, from Orlando all the way down to the Keys. So that session will start at 10 o'clock on the 28th. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you there.